From a young age, I have perceived the Lin family to be rather peculiar. My father is irascible, my mother a dramatist, my eldest brother self-important, and my second brother indiscreet. Meanwhile, I have devoted myself solely to my studies, often appearing out of place. This all changed when my elder brother brought home the missing young heiress. The scheming little flower hesitated to speak, yet her eyes were red as she scanned the room. Sister, do you not feel any guilt for enjoying our parents' love all these years? Yet, throughout my life, I have been the one running errands and performing menial tasks. I am the one who is teased and tormented, who bears the brunt of scolding and blame. I remain the unloved one. Had she not gone missing, she could have shared the burden with me. So, why is she not the one feeling guilty? Just after I had a conversation with the homeroom teacher over the phone regarding the recommendation for further studies, I heard my mother's voice quivering with emotion.
Yike.
My precious daughter, you have endured so much these past years. Peering through the railings, I witnessed an emotionally charged scene unfolding in the lively living room. A similar spectacle had transpired just yesterday, prompting me to pause and watch. Lindsay, come down quickly. Our dear sister has returned. My second brother beckoned me to join them, his face etched with disdain as he chastised. If it weren't for you, our sister would not have been left to suffer outside. Shinyke abruptly raised her gaze, casting an unusual look in my direction. My mother grasped her hand tightly, her eyes brimming with tears as she defended me. E is merely a child. She knows nothing. My second brother retorted. Had she shown even the slightest awareness back then, our sister would not have been lost. Shouldn't she feel a pang of guilt for that? I approached slowly, pondering what I ought to feel guilty about. Just yesterday, my mother had tearfully informed me that she had found our sister. To my astonishment, today Shinyke was brought back home. I greeted her politely, but she treated me as if I were invisible. Scanning the room, she failed to find my father's presence, her face clouded with disappointment. Where's my dad? As an elusive figure, my father rarely graced our home with his presence. His absence was therefore not surprising. My mother hurriedly intervened to explain. Your father is very busy with work and cannot be here. My dear, if you need anything, just tell me. Shinyke's heart quietly shattered. It was disheartening for her that her father was absent on her first return home, a reality no one would willingly accept. Yet this was my father. He was capable of such indifference. The last time my second brother had a car accident and was hospitalized, my father had not even bothered to check on his own son. I had no idea what Shinyke was hoping for. In an attempt to ease the tension, my eldest brother smiled gently. Yike, I've arranged for a special room for you. Let me take you to see it. I eagerly followed him upstairs. As we passed by my room, Shinyke paused momentarily. She cast a penetrating glance through the slightly ajar door, her expression inscrutable. My eldest brother led the way into the room at the end of the hall, where a sea of purple hues greeted us. He might genuinely believe that his sister would find the color charming. Do you like it? He asked, his hopeful gaze awaiting a response. Shinyke stood frozen, her heart further fracturing. After a long pause, she finally spoke, albeit in a perfunctory manner. I cannot disregard the kindness of my elder brother. I suppressed a smile threatening to creep onto my face and politely interjected, if you dislike it, you are welcome to stay in my room. My mother nodded approvingly at Shinyke, her hand still clasping hers. With reddened eyes, Shinyke spoke her first words to me. Can I? I was uncertain if that question was directed at me, as she was facing my mother and eldest brother. You must. My second brother replied without a hint of hesitation. You are our dear sister, and deserve to be cherished. He was right, and I nodded in agreement from my corner. Yet, as his sister, I had received no such affection from him. Did that mean I was unworthy? I quickly quelled the urge to compare myself and endeavored to reconcile with my own feelings. Shinyke turned to me with an accusatory gaze. Sister, do not think this will earn you my forgiveness. After all, you have enjoyed our parents' love all these years. Do you not feel guilty? Too. I was certain that this statement was directed at me by Shinyke. Enjoyed? Were my two brothers not part of the equation? I replied courteously. On what grounds do you believe I should feel guilty? Just because I was born a few minutes before you. I should have been responsible for your care at the age of 3. Is that it? Tears glistened in Shinyke's eyes, her cheeks flushing. I merely hope to receive the same love from our parents and brothers as you do. Is that wrong? My mother, filled with compassion, embraced her. And my eldest brother stepped forward to pat her shoulder in comfort. My second brother, like a sycophant, pointed an accusing finger at me, jumping up and down. You should feel guilty. It's no wonder our mother does not love you. Suddenly, he fell silent, perhaps realizing something. It seemed the Lin family had wrongly imposed their faults upon me, making me the scapegoat for Shinyke's misfortunes. My mother's expression darkened as she reproached. What nonsense are you speaking? I love each of you equally. Her words were a mere facade, not to be taken seriously. She turned to stroke Shinyke's head, her face a mask of concern. I will find a way to make up for the love you have missed over the years. I have arranged for your transfer to school. You'll be in the same class as E, so you can look out for each other. The atmosphere fell into an oppressive silence. Shinyke lifted her gaze to me, her deep eyes revealing an unmistakable sense of fracture. Sister, can I? I could only shrug helplessly. Hasn't Mom already made the arrangements? Are you unwilling? She shook her head vigorously, her voice tinged with grievance. No. It's just that I fear you may not like me. I was finally caught in this melodramatic turn of events. From the very beginning, Shinyke had directed her grievances toward me, and now it seemed I was the one at fault. I wondered from whom she had inherited this talent for deflecting blame. My eldest brother furrowed his brow. Yike, just stay in this room for now. No one here will dare to bully you. If you need anything, just let your elder brother know, or you can also approach your second brother. He had automatically placed me in opposition to Shinyke. Was this truly how a brother should behave? Thank you, brother, Shinyke said, on the verge of tears. She paused slightly. Can I also come to find my sister? In the incredulous gazes of everyone present, the air thickened once more. I bit my lip and nodded reluctantly. Of course, but I am rather busy. 3. I had to focus on my studies. Upon returning to my room, I began working on exercises. I had yet to complete a single difficult problem when Shinyke unexpectedly pushed the door open. I was at a crucial point in my calculations and reluctantly set my pen down. Do you need something? I inquired. Lindsay, do you understand the pain of being bullied without parents to turn to? It seemed Shinyke had come to seek my sympathy. However, she spoke as if having parents guaranteed immunity from bullying. In the past, when my brothers had tormented me, my parents had never shown me any compassion as their daughter. They were indifferent to everything that transpired at school. They never answered the phone calls from teachers and never attended parent-teacher meetings. Their only excuse was that they were too busy. While I could understand my father's preoccupations, my mother's excuses were rather peculiar. She claimed my father forbade her from attending, fearing she might be charmed by other parents. This was merely an attempt to save face. My 2 brothers were too busy tormenting me to waste time on me. I felt like an orphan surrounded by family. With that thought, I confidently responded, I understand. You have never experienced it. What do you comprehend? Shinyke's eyes were bloodshot, radiating fury. I have never felt impoverished, which is why I strove so hard to change my circumstances. She grew increasingly animated as she spoke, even beginning to boast. You have no idea how hard I have worked. Despite the scarce educational resources, I still ranked first. She was indeed impressive, but still fell short of my achievements. It was as if she were insinuating I lacked effort. Upon learning that Shinyke was my sister, I had immediately sought to understand everything about her. Growing up in a loveless environment had undoubtedly twisted her psyche. I genuinely empathized with her and sincerely praised, "You are remarkable." Achieving good grades under such circumstances undoubtedly required immense effort. However, Shinyke seemed unappreciative of my response, clearly dissatisfied. Do I need you to acknowledge my excellence? I shall not be like you, who only knows how to indulge in pleasure and squander their parents' money without restraint. I aspire to be a pillar of support for my parents, and I hope that one day they will take pride in me. Shinyke completely misjudged her own significance. In her parents' eyes, their daughter is merely a pawn to maintain and elevate the Lin family's enterprises. Shinyke overestimates her own importance. If her parents genuinely cared for their youngest daughter, they would not have so easily let her slip away. Their ingrained preference for sons is deeply entrenched. Thus, the affection Shinyke seeks from them will not endure. Their current kindness is merely compensation for the long-standing separation. Her parents feel a sense of obligation, which prompts their attentiveness. Time will reveal all truths and diminish all sentiments. I leisurely swivel in my chair, hoping to rouse her from her delusions. You and I can never become the heirs of the Lin family. The Lin family does not require your meddling, nor will it indulge your ambitions. Our sole purpose is to serve as ornamental figures. Shinyke stood frozen, seemingly grappling with the weight of my words. You're talking nonsense. They only disregard you because they don't love you. I gazed at her contorted face, momentarily forgetting to retort. A marriage alliance is the true value of existing as a daughter of the Lin family. Academic performance is not what truly concerns her parents. Yet Shinyke remains oblivious. She fails to comprehend what the existence of her two elder brothers signifies. To even entertain the thought of meddling in the Lin family's affairs is sheer folly. I have long seen through this charade. Turning my face away, a smile danced in my eyes. Do you have anything else to discuss? Otherwise, I shall continue my studies. Just as we fell into silence, my second brother burst through the door. With a casual air, he looked at me and scoffed. No matter how well you study, in the end, you'll end up marrying someone else. This remark was directed at me, yet judging by Shinyke's expression, she seemed to absorb it as well. The following day, I reluctantly accompanied Shinyke in the same vehicle to school. Throughout the journey, we each gazed out at our respective scenery, neither of us initiating conversation. Uncle Chun, the driver, attempted to ease the atmosphere by engaging us. Ladies, would you like to hear a joke? It's quite amusing. Just as I prepared to respond, Shinyke interjected with a sharp tone. Focus on driving, spare us the chatter. Uncle Chun promptly fell silent. Previously, when he drove me alone, the atmosphere in the car was always cheerful. Even when I was in a bad mood, he would find ways to uplift my spirits. After Shinyke exited the car, I consoled Uncle Chun. Please don't take offense. My sister is just on her period. We entered the classroom, one after the other. Curiosity piqued among our classmates, and they instinctively gathered around us. I provided a straightforward introduction of Shinyke's basic information. A wealthy second-generation student pointed at her and asked, "Is your sister also a top student?" I nodded. "So, who performs better academically between the two of you?" Such divisive questions are only posed by the dim-witted. Shinyke's cold gaze bore into me, waiting for my answer. I smiled subtly. My sister is the top of her class. Whispers of speculation began to circulate among the crowd. Someone from a major province must be exceptional. Can Lindsay maintain her top position? Indeed. High achievers often cluster together. It's as if the ancestral grave is emitting smoke. Do you think the one who falls behind will shed tears? They reveled in their gossip, while I quietly took out my workbook to continue studying. No one could impede my progress. The wealthy second-generation students mocked my diligence, deeming me out of place. I pretended not to hear, keeping my focus on the purpose of my efforts. I aimed to assist the children of affluent families in dealing with their teachers and embellish their academic achievements to deceive their parents. After all, tests and assignments were merely opportunities for me to accumulate wealth. Earning money is my ultimate goal. Otherwise, from where would I derive the funds for my education? After lunch, the school's troublemaker flaunted a bracelet before me. Lindsay, your sister is quite savvy. She just arrived and already gifted me such an extravagant present. I forced a strained smile. The troublemaker draped her arm over my shoulder, a sly grin forming. But she claims that you, as her sister, have treated her poorly. What do you think I should do? I shrugged off her hand, brushing off imaginary dust from my clothes. Let it go. Shinyke fails to realize that in school, money is not the most effective means of winning hearts. Her approach is far too juvenile. Helping others complete assignments and navigate exams is paramount. Everyone here is wealthy. No one is lacking trifles. The troublemaker once again draped her arm over my shoulder, her grip noticeably tighter. For the sake of your past assistance, I won't hold it against you this time, but you'd best be cautious in the future. It dawned on me that Shinyke had likely not only brought a gift, but had also replaced me in some transaction with the troublemaker. Clearly, I had underestimated her. As classmates returned to the classroom, Shinyke, accompanied by a group, encircled me at my desk, attempting to confront me. She spoke with an air of superiority. Is this the person who has stolen my life for over a decade? Am I wrong to reclaim what rightfully belongs to me? Those around her nodded in agreement. Not wrong. Someone timidly inquired, is she a fake heiress? But you two look strikingly similar. I closed my book and casually replied, We're twins. The crowd appeared enlightened yet bewildered. This group of wealthy second-generation underachievers knows nothing. The melodrama of true versus false heiresses, typically reserved for novels, is unexpectedly unfolding between sisters. Their minds buzzed with curiosity. Ultimately, the commotion concluded when the homeroom teacher summoned me away. Upon returning home, Shinyke promptly began to fabricate accusations against me. Mom, my sister incited our classmates to ostracize me at school. Tears cascaded from Shinyke's eyes as if they were of no value, splattering onto the floor. My mother's expression darkened immediately. Really? How could do such a thing? Shinyke countered emphatically. She is just unhappy that I've returned to take away your love. Her words flowed with the recklessness of a mind unprepared. Utterly foolish. In this household, love is the least likely sentiment to exist. I have never received the love of my parents or brothers. How could I possibly take it away? My second brother scoffed. Lindsay, I never imagined you to be this kind of person. This entire family is filled with fools. Prolonged exposure to them genuinely lowers one's intelligence. I grew weary of their nonsense and turned to ascend the stairs. Stop. Apologize. My eldest brother's stern voice suddenly cut through the air. Shinyke flinched. Retreating closer to my mother, I gripped the railing, turning my head with no anger in my eyes, only an emotion of helplessness that could not be vented.
I'm sorry.
It was a simple matter. There was no need to squander time with a bunch of imbeciles. Shinyke's face beamed with concealed triumph, a smirk tugging at her lips. It's all right, as long as my sister doesn't target me anymore. Her magnanimity suddenly made me appear petty. My eldest brother remained unsatisfied. He inquired with a stern expression, "Is that all?" I clenched my fists, momentarily at a loss for words. After 2 seconds of silence, I shrugged. She said, "It's fine. What more do you want from me? Do you wish for me to kneel and bow to her?" My eldest brother's fury surged, his face reddening with indignation. Lindsay, what kind of attitude is that? Do not presume that I would not dare to act against you simply because my mother is present. It is hardly surprising that he would utter such words. For when my mother is absent, he does not hesitate to chastise me. While other brothers may dote on their sisters, he takes a contrary approach, constantly lecturing me with his self-righteousness. Before Shinyke made her appearance, I was already aware that if I did not strive to run forward, I would be the one left drenched. I must craft my own umbrella. Thus, I devoted myself fervently to my studies, hoping that one day I could escape this family. I believed Shinyke's arrival was a divine blessing, sent to serve as a decoy to draw fire away from me. Yet, I soon realized that this decoy only added fuel to the flames. It became evident that relying on others is far less reliable than depending on oneself. I no longer wished to endure this family's pretentiousness. As I descended the stairs to confront them, I lifted my chin and spoke slowly. So, do you wish to cast me out? My mother, sensing the tension, hurriedly interjected to mediate. What is happening here? Isn't it better for a family to live in harmony? Has already apologized. We should consider this matter settled. My eldest brother, deflated, but I had no intention of moving on. I had read numerous novels that depicted the intricacies of human relationships, and each plot resonated vividly in my mind. In the past, I had envisioned myself within these tales countless times. The melodramatic narratives only fortified my resolve. Without the support of family, I could only run forward, trembling with fear of falling into an abyss. Fortunately, I had fought for a future that was reasonably bright. Many things I once dared not dream of were now within my grasp. I was determined to confront them about our past grievances. And what about the bullying I endured at their hands? My eldest brother's face hardened. What bullying? Clarify this for me. We were only acting in your best interest. I lowered my gaze, scoffing, then suddenly raised my head. For my benefit? Is it for my benefit to be bossed around? Is it for my benefit to be made to stand in the rain by the driver? My mother was taken aback by this sudden revelation, her expression one of disbelief. Is this true? Why was I never informed? I struggled to hold back my tears, maintaining a calm demeanor as I recounted. How could you know? In your eyes. There are only your 2 precious sons. There is no room for me. Only the weak complain about their circumstances, while the strong strive to alter their environment. I endeavored to become strong. Knowing they would favor each other, I realized that complaining would only make me appear foolish. Yet, I could not believe my mother had never noticed the discrepancies. She simply chose to ignore them. My mother stood there, stunned, shaking her head vigorously. No, that is not true. On Shinyke's face, a trace of pity for me flickered, but predominantly, there was satisfaction. My second brother spat resentfully. Ungrateful wretch. It would have been better if you had gotten lost back then. Indeed, had I been the one to disappear, I would not have had to strive to grow in this stifling environment for all these years. I was certain I would have thrived better than Shinyke. I smiled. So, shall I leave now? My eldest brother replied impatiently, Do not speak in anger. If you truly wish to leave, you would have done so long ago. From that day forth, the Lin family distanced themselves from me. When my father called, I was in the midst of tutoring, earning funds for my university expenses. His tone was somewhat impatient yet restrained. Why are you busier than I am today? I offered him no courtesy, retorting directly, What else? Who isn't toiling for a meager sum? Your busyness is for wealth, while mine is mere pointless labor. Enough of the banter. Come home. We have invited Gu Su for dinner. Gu Su was my betrothed, a union arranged from birth. My father rarely took the initiative to call me back, indicating his desire to mend our relationship. I seized the opportunity to return home. At the dinner table, Gu Su arrived a few minutes late. Shinyke instantly took a liking to the affluent and handsome young man, undoubtedly having done her homework. She sat beside Gu Su, ignoring my presence as she sought to charm him. Brother Gu, now that I have just returned to the Lin family, may I consult you on anything I do not understand? Gu Su, though impressive, was no stranger to women. I am not your mother. Why consult me? His words were rather biting. Shinyke was left disheartened, her head bowed in defeat. Gu Su showed no mercy, scoffing, I am simply fickle. I am not blind. Do you not recognize your own worth? Stung by his words, Shinyke suppressed her anger, asserting, But I am also a Lin family heiress. Since Lindsay does not approve of you, our engagement is equally unacceptable. Please. With your caliber, not even I would consider you. Even a gorilla would shy away. Shinyke faced disdain. She looked as dejected as a defeated rooster. Gu Su turned to me, his rebellious demeanor softening. The Lin and Gu families may collaborate. But my betrothed can only be Lindsay. My father, sensing the escalating tension, intervened to explain, You two are betrothed since birth. I had no idea that and Yike were twins. In theory, Gu Su, you may choose whomever you wish. Mr. Lin, that is not my concern. Unless I am dead, the matter I have resolved cannot be altered by anyone, not even the King of Heaven. My father forced a smile, knowing that as long as the cooperation between our families strengthened, he did not mind who Gu Su chose. Shinyke slammed her hand on the table, furious. What makes the Gu family so special? The Lin family does not covet you. Gu Su raised an eyebrow, smirking. Oh, is that so? Does Mr. Lin share that sentiment? My father, enraged, rose, and without hesitation slapped Shinyke across the face. There was an immediate silence in the room. Shinyke, stunned, trembled, her eyes filled with resentment as she covered her swollen face, crying, Why? Gu Su could speak so freely because the Gu family's power supported his boldness. As the Lin family's recently welcomed daughter, Shinyke had no standing to speak. She had overestimated her importance and foolishly provoked Gu Su. My father struck her for failing to recognize the situation. Gu Su was not someone the Lin family could afford to offend. My mother consoled Shinyke in her embrace. It will be all right. Just apply some ice later. My eldest and second brothers fell silent, retreating to the sidelines. They were willing to indulge Shinyke's unruly behavior in front of me, but seeing her humiliated before outsiders was too much. Everyone knew my father's temperament. In the face of absolute authority, one could only yield. I merely smiled, saying nothing further. Gu Su rose, wiping his hands with a towel, showing no regard for my father. Mr. Lin, your daughter, whom you so painstakingly brought back, seems a bit lacking in decorum. I would not like the cooperation between the Gu and Lin families to be affected by her. My father, humbly compliant, nodded repeatedly. He specifically asked me to see Gu Su off. Seizing the moment, I hastily fled this place of discord. Gu Su leaned against the car door, still exuding an air of reckless abandon. I await your news. I shall come to fetch you in grand style. I despised Gu Su's arrogant demeanor. Thus, I would never agree to marry him. Gusu, while I may be in need of affection, I am not so indiscriminate as to accept any love that comes my way. Your affections are fleeting, shifting from one to another each day. Gusu furrowed his brows momentarily before raising an eyebrow with a hint of amusement. So what? I will absolutely not agree to marry you. Are your parents aware of this? We've known each other since childhood. As you know, I have never been a docile little rabbit. In an instant, the car door slammed shut, and a hand emerged from the lowered window, giving a thumbs up. Upon returning home, Shinyke began to lament to her parents about their lack of love for her. How could we not love you? Since your return, we have incurred countless expenses, and we spent a significant sum just to transfer you to another school. What more do you want? After saying this, my mother began to cry. It is indeed amusing to measure love with money. Yet even this cheap form of love seems to be something I am unworthy of. This time, neither my elder brother nor my second brother took the initiative to comfort her. Perhaps it was because it did not concern them, but rather the interests of the Lin family. Thus, they chose to remain silent. Shinyke, feeling indignant, began to accuse me. Isn't it your family that paid for Lindsay to attend an elite school? Why do you scold me for receiving such little financial support? My parents exchanged glances, as if struck by lightning, and realized, no, didn't he seem to have asked her family for money to attend school. My father, busy with business affairs, had no time to concern himself with me, while my mother was solely focused on enjoying her own life. She didn't even bother to answer calls from teachers. How could she remember to pay my tuition on time? As for my two brothers, they were only focused on bullying and controlling me. Shinyke became flustered, mumbling incoherently. Why? My second brother, quick-witted, suggested perhaps she leveraged connections to get her tuition waived. Shinyke seemed to latch onto this like a lifeline, nodding vigorously. Yes, it must be due to some inappropriate connections. The tuition for an elite school is not cheap. Without parental support, Shinyke could not believe I could attend school there. She clenched her fists and shot me a vicious glare, convinced she had found my Achilles heel. Lindsay, do you dare to claim you dress flamboyantly without trying to attract others? She seemed to find a scapegoat, venting her frustrations on me and hurling accusations. Your actions disgrace the Lin family, and you should be expelled. I chuckled in anger, calmly countering. Do you have any evidence to support your claim? If not, it is slander and a challenge to the Lin family's reputation. Upon hearing this, my father immediately became alert. While he may neglect family matters, for a businessman, reputation outweighs all else. He could tolerate my reckless spending, but he would never allow me to tarnish the family name through scandalous behavior. He shot a dark glance at Shinyke, saying, if I hear unverified claims from the Lin family again, I will take serious action without mercy. With no support, Shinyke's demeanor crumbled instantly. Her eyes reddened as she quietly questioned, is there really no one questioning where Lindsay's money comes from? My money, of course, was earned through my own hard work. However, the Lin family seemed indifferent to that fact. Shinyke incessantly clung to me. Was she like a dog? Until the eve of the college entrance examination, I decided to stay at a hotel. Ever since the last fallout with my elder brother, he no longer interfered in my affairs. My mother frowned and pondered, then I will transfer you some money. I resolutely declined, no need, I have enough. My second brother, as annoying as ever, began his antics again, mocking Lindsay. Be sure to save some money. What you have is also given by the Lin family. Before I could retort, Shinyke interjected, Sister, you should stay at home so that people won't say we, the Lin family, treat you poorly or abuse you. Aren't we in the same examination hall? It would be convenient for Master Chun to drive us together. My mother, with her finger hovering over the screen for a transfer, nodded repeatedly. It's rare for Yike to be so considerate. So you should stay at home. We must not allow any gossip. I begrudgingly nodded. The 2 days leading up to the exam went smoothly. However, on the final morning, my alarm failed to ring. The door wouldn't budge, no matter how hard I tried. I called out everyone's names, making a loud commotion, yet no one came to my aid. It wasn't until half an hour after the exam started that the butler finally opened the door. Leaning against the door, I asked unfazed, Why were you keeping me locked up? The butler stammered, Miss E, I was assigned to other tasks early this morning. I scrutinized him and frowned, asking, Did Shinyke instruct you to do this? He shook his head vigorously, but I could see the truth in his shifty eyes. With a resigned smile, I shook my head. I understand. Please close the door behind you. I did not press the butler further, and instead took a nap. At dinner time, my mother, dressed in a cheapao, asked us how the exams went. Shinyke, confidently smiling, replied, I think I did quite well. I probably need to spend money to study abroad. Some people almost made me late, and I have no idea what their intentions were. What happened? My mother set her chopsticks down, her expression darkening. Sister overslept and missed the exam. I almost got delayed waiting for her. My mother frowned deeply. Is this true? The butler intentionally avoided my gaze, and I smiled brightly. I wasn't feeling well and couldn't get up, but it's all right. My scores should still allow me to attend a good university. Shinyke scoffed, leaning back as if watching a grand joke unfold. Lindsay, what are you bragging about? Do you really think you're a top student? Am I not? I always manage to score well enough, never falling too far behind the second place. I know too well that being too outstanding can attract unwanted attention, especially in this elite school. As long as I can secure a scholarship, that is sufficient. Scoring even 1 point higher would be a waste. Moreover, my parents don't care about my grades. Therefore, I only score a few points above Shinyke each time. She believed that by causing me to miss the final exam, she would have the upper hand. Little did she know. My participation in the college entrance examination was merely to experience that singular atmosphere. I suspect her hopes are destined to be dashed. The college entrance examination is not the most significant turning point in my life. Rather, it is the starting point of my departure from this home. On the day the results were released, Shinyke ranked first in the entire school, causing a stir in the Lin family. She indeed secured a place in a prestigious university. Congratulations flooded in. My parents, who usually did not care about grades, were also overjoyed and began preparing to celebrate Shinyke's newfound familial recognition. Because I scored over 20 points less than Shinyke, she began to taunt me. What now? With your scores, it might be challenging to even leave the province. My mother, caught up in her excitement, blurted out without thinking, in that case, let us send you abroad. This had been my parents' initial plan for me, as Gusu had already mapped out his study abroad plans. Shinyke complained, Mom, my sister is dragging the Lin family down. Perhaps we should let her guard the company instead. Great idea. My second brother chimed in, ever the sycophant. Shinyke clearly looked down on a doorkeeper-esque position. However, from my perspective, that role also requires strength and vigilance. Someone as oblivious as her might not even qualify for that job. I promptly interjected, Thank you for your kindness, but I have already found a university. Without the support of the Lin family, what do you plan to use to attend university? Shinyke mocked disdainfully. I merely replied calmly, You'll see when the time comes. A few days later, Shinyke appeared at the celebration banquet, holding her dress like a princess, drawing the attention of everyone present. Prominent figures from the local community gathered to celebrate the Lin family's momentous occasion. For the first time, my father's face blossomed into a genuine smile, rendering him far more agreeable. Someone approached Shinyke and inquired, Do you feel jealous that your sister has always been by our parents' side? She replied with a smile, Not at all. I am truly grateful that my sister has been there for our parents, taking care of them on my behalf. Shinyke, linking her arm with mine, deliberately displayed an air of intimacy that I found utterly contrived. The same person then asked, Since you are twins, and you have been accepted into a prestigious university, surely your sister must have performed well too? Shinyke, unable to conceal her pride, feigned regret as she said, She missed her exam due to oversleeping, but it's all right. Our parents are willing to let her rely on them and will spend money to send her abroad. I immediately withdrew my hand and retorted, Who said that? I have already been granted direct admission to the top university, eh?
Impossible.
Shinyke faltered, her lips quivering. I laughed freely. I took the college entrance examination merely for the experience. You can't seriously believe that a single test could determine my fate? As the crowd learned of my direct admission, all attention gravitated towards me, while Shinyke began to fade into a whirlpool of disappointment. She disregarded her image, descending into a frenzy. No way. You must be lying to me, you deceiver. It's not enough that you took my parents away, now you wish to seize my rightful honor. She completely lost control, her humiliation and resentment pushing her towards a breakdown. No, it's all our parents' fault. If they hadn't lost me, everything would have been mine. This scene undoubtedly left my father visibly troubled. He lowered his raised hand, refraining from striking Shinyke, concerned about his own image. The banquet concluded hastily. My elder brother and second brother restrained the nearly frantic Shinyke, while my mother, covering her face with tears, lamented, "It was our fault for losing you. But we have been striving to find you all these years. We have been trying to make amends for our shortcomings. Have we not tried hard enough? If it weren't for EE." My heart tightened suddenly as I focused intently on every word my mother was about to utter. Yet she never completed her thought. After Shinyke was taken away, I turned to my mother and asked, "Do you truly believe it was my fault that my sister went missing?" She fell silent. Her silence was her answer. After Shinyke finally succumbed to exhaustion and fell asleep, I gathered the Lin family in the living room. Each of their faces bore an expression of disdain. "I plan to leave tomorrow to acclimatize myself at the school," I announced. Shock washed over their faces. My mother wiped away her non-existent tears, saying, "Then I will have your brother drive you." "No need, I can manage on my own," I replied. "I have earned enough for my tuition and living expenses, so you need not worry." I added, "Please refrain from contacting me unless it is urgent." My mother wailed, "Do you not want your mother anymore?" I responded with my departing silhouette. Our family arose unusually early. Even my second brother, who typically enjoyed sleeping in, emerged with panda eyes. Before setting off, they each bid me farewell. My mother said, "You will always be my good daughter." My father remarked, "If you need money, just call me. Actually, you can call me anytime." My second brother added, "After so many years, I've grown attached to having a dog. Now that you are leaving, I suppose you want to return." I sensed he genuinely did not wish for my return. My elder brother remained silent, lost in thought. After a long pause, he finally came to his senses, asking, "Before you leave, could you call me Big Brother one last time?" I shook my head with a smile, lifting my gaze to the figure moving behind the second-floor window. "Perhaps it's best to leave it at that. You can go find Shinyke and have her call you that." At university, I spent none of the money my parents sent. I felt justified in spending the money I earned myself. Unlike my two brothers, who achieved nothing and continually found themselves in financial ruin, relying on our parents to bail them out. While I dedicated myself to self-improvement and projects, they dragged the Lin family down, only to later lecture me on frugality. I looked down upon them and had no desire to emulate their path. Thus, when I achieved first place and received a scholarship, I understood how I should live. After winning a gold medal in a competition, I was directly admitted to a top university, and from that point on, I had the confidence to plan my own life. However, I chose not to divulge this to the Lin family. I had initially hesitated between going abroad and being directly admitted, unable to clearly communicate my thoughts to my homeroom teacher. But once the last vestige of hope shattered, clarity flooded my mind. I finally felt free to pursue whatever I desired. I knew that without relying on others, I could still embrace a bright and radiant future, even if I shared an unbreakable blood bond with that family. Yet, I was not them. I had my own aspirations and a life that belonged solely to me. After graduating with my master's degree, I established my own team with my mentor's assistance and started a company, which flourished remarkably. Thanks to favorable circumstances, the company took off. On the day of its public listing, Goose Su came specifically to congratulate me. "Lindsay, congratulations on successfully breaking free from the Lin family. I believe we..." I interrupted him, not allowing him to continue. "Thank you for your assistance with my company. I look forward to a fruitful collaboration." Since Goose Su took over the Gu family's business, he had become considerably more composed. I feigned ignorance of his intentions. After all, the road ahead was long, and I had never considered depending on anyone. A journalist recognized me as the Lin family's heiress. "The Lin Group is currently in substantial debt. Will you be stepping in to assist, Ms. Lin?" I smiled wryly. If they're willing to sell the company to me, I might consider it at a reasonable price. After all, I also needed to expand my company's reach. However, I would never allow familial ties to coerce me into offering financial assistance without just cause. Why should I play the fool? In the shadows, a pair of eyes fixated on me. I confidently approached her, biting my lip, uncertain of how to begin. My mother, on the verge of tears, finally spoke. It has been a long time." I pondered for a moment. It had only been a few years. "What brings you here?" Her smiling eyes suddenly turned awkward. I came to congratulate you. Your father intended to join me, but circumstances at home prevented him from doing so. I shook my head, sighing. I am fortunate to have grown up in the Lin family, without going astray. I appreciate the lessons you imparted and the facade of the perfect mother you crafted, which allowed me to understand the value of familial ties. You have left an indelible mark on my life. Thus I owe you nothing. My mother could not have come to congratulate me. She must have come seeking my assistance. After all these years, I had not set foot in the Lin family home, and she surely understood what that signified. Her face, once filled with disappointment, now bore traces of fear, her voice hoarse and fragmented, as if constricted by chains. Do you truly not want us anymore? She was mistaken. From the very beginning, it was they who had cast me aside. This talent for manipulation was evidently hereditary. I withdrew a bank card from my bag and handed it to her. This contains the money you have sent me over the years. I have also added a bit more to settle our accounts. I paid no further attention to my mother's expression as I turned and walked away. Subsequently, Uncle Chin became my dedicated driver, and we shared laughter every day. Boss, do you wish to know about the recent happenings within the Lin family? Indeed, I yearn to know, for I possess an insatiable curiosity for gossip. Shinyke, in her quest for the so-called affection of her parents, inadvertently entangled herself with an elderly gentleman. This union was solely due to his wealth and the utility he provided to the Lin family. Regrettably, it was the offspring of this gentleman who wielded the real power, rendering her invisible and unappreciated. During Shinyke's pregnancy, in a drunken stupor, the old man subjected her abdomen to violent blows, ultimately resulting in a miscarriage. I harbor suspicions that this was a deliberate act on his part, as he likely wished to prevent her from bringing forth a child that could contest his inheritance. After enduring such turmoil, Shinyke returned to the Lin household. At a time when the family's very existence hung in the balance, her two brothers approached me. The elder brother, maintaining an air of composure, stated, "Our family is currently facing difficulties. As a member of the Lin family, you ought to lend a helping hand." The younger brother, filled with indignation, exclaimed, "Indeed, contribute funds." I readily replied, "Very well, I am willing to assist, however. As sons of the Lin family and beneficiaries of its wealth, what commendable deeds have you accomplished? Answer me. It is not the idle rich who concern me, but rather those who seek to prove themselves through misguided ambition." One brother, blindly confident, while the other carelessly offended those within their circle. In the end, the two siblings squandered the family's fortune. They have reaped what they sowed. When Shinyke approached me, her head held high, she declared, "You are merely fortunate. The Lin family will not falter as long as I am present." Yet the very next day, I took the initiative to acquire the Lin family's assets, excluding all of its members from the equation. Were it not for my intervention, their residence would have been sold off. I lament my own compassion, treating them as pitiful stray dogs. Though she has bitten me, I cannot stoop to the level of a dog. Can I? My father, upon learning of this, was consumed by rage and fainted, never to awaken again. My mother, severely affected, became increasingly erratic and was ultimately sent to a sanatorium. The two brothers, cornered by loan sharks, now scavenge for funds to repay their debts. Their home is likely lost as well. This is the bitter fruit of their own sowing. Shinyke visited my mother, saying, "Mother, I have come to see you." My mother retorted angrily, "Who is this wild creature? I am not your mother. I have but one daughter, See, I told you this family is devoid of love. I understand that the only recourse now is to love oneself." I closed my eyes, relishing the gentle caress of the breeze, as I embraced the promise of a beautiful tomorrow. The end. Thank you for listening. Until we meet again in the next story.